In this video, we're going to build a modern Glassmorphism portfolio website using only HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. This portfolio will include a responsive navigation bar, a hero section with a typing animation, a project's grid layout, a contact form, dark mode toggle, and a fully responsive mobile menu. By the end of this video, you'll understand layout structuring, Glass UI effects, animations, and responsive design. Let's get started. If you are new here, make sure to subscribe. Before we start coding, let's break this project into sections. 1. Navigation bar. 2. Background effects. 3. Hero section. 4. About section. 5. Project section. 6. Contact section. Let's start the code. So first you must open a folder in VS Code or create one. I will create mine in the desktop. I'll name it Portfolio Project. Then I'll open this project in VS Code. A shortcut for that is right-click the folder, select Open in Terminal and write code. Then press Enter. This will open the folder in VS Code. Now in VS Code we will create 3 different files. Name the first one index.html. Create a second file and call it style.css. Create the last one and name it script.js. If maybe you are not familiar with this files. Index.html is where we write HTML code. Style.css is where we write the stylings of the web page. Scripts.js is where we write JavaScript to add interactivity to the website. Go to the index.html file and create the basic HTML structure. A shortcut for this is write the exclamation mark and press Enter. It will write the structure for you. Next is to link the CSS file in the head. Then in the body, before closing the body tag, we will link the JavaScript file. After linking all the files, I will open this project in the browser so that I can see what I'm creating. Make sure you have LiveServer installed in your VS Code extensions. So right-click in the file and select Open with LiveServer to run the file in your browser. So as I said in the structure, I will start by creating a navigation bar. I'll create a header. Inside the header, I will create a nav element and give it 2 classes, navbar and glass. These classes will help us access these elements while styling them with CSS. Inside the nav element, I will create a h2 element and give it a class of logo. Then I will write the name the person I'm creating the website for. Since I'm using LiveServer, this changes appear directly in the website. Next, I will create a list of links. So I will write UL for unordered links. I will give it a class of navlinks and an ID of navlinks. The ID will help us to access this element in JavaScript. Next, I will create a list and inside the list a link. I will not put the href attribute for now. I'll just write about. Next, I will copy this list and paste it a few times. Then I will change the text to projects and contact. Next, I will create a div and give it a class of nav actions. A div acts as a container. Then inside this div, I will create a button to switch to dark mode and give it a class of toggle theme. I will put an emoji. To put an emoji on Windows, you can press Windows and full stop. I'm not sure how you can add an emoji on Linux or Mac OS. Below that button, I will add another div. I will give it a class of hamburger and an ID of hamburger. Then for the text, since I don't have the emoji, I will Google its HTML code. Once I paste the code from Google, I now have the hamburger icon in my website. Now I want us to do some styling before we go further. So I will split my screen to open the CSS file next to the HTML file. So the first thing to write style for is the star. This helps to reset everything and remove default stylings like margin. So I'll set margin to 0, padding to 0. Box sizing to border box, font family to Seago UI, and add a smooth scrolling. Next, I will target the body. Give it a minimum height of 100 viewport height. That means the body cannot be small, that the height of your screen. Next, I will style the background. I want the background to have two colors, so I will use linear gradient. The first value is in degrees. It specifies how the colors will be aligned, such as from top to bottom or left to right. The next value is the first color, then the second value is the second color. 135 degrees means the color will be from top left to bottom right. Next, I will set color to white. Then overflow X to hidden. Now I will style the navigation bar. We will start by the element we gave the class of navbar. Since we are accessing using a class, we must start with a dot. I will display flex, justify content space between and align item center. Next, I will target the header and add some padding. 80 pixels for top and bottom and 8% for right and left. Next, I will target the nav links class. I will display to flex, give it some gap, and remove the default list style. Next, I will target the nav links again but add a to target the links. Remember, we did not give the links a class, so this is a way of accessing them even without a class. I will change their color to white and remove the text decoration that comes with links. I will add some styles when I hover the links. I can do this using the hover pseudo class. Then reduce the opacity. You can see as I try to hover. I will add some transitions so that the hover appears even smoother. Next, I will target the nav actions, display flex, add some gap, and align items to center. Next, I will target the toggle button theme using an ID, so I will use a hash instead of a dot. Remove background, remove border, add some font size, set cursor to pointer, and set a white color. Next, we target the hamburger. We display none to hide it for now. Add some font size and set cursor to pointer. So, let's go back to HTML and add a few elements to our website. Scroll to the top. We are going to add a feature used in modern websites. We will create colorful, blurry circles in the background. They don't contain any content. They're just decorative elements to make the design look modern and dynamic. So, create a div and give it two classes, blob and blob1. I'll copy the div and paste it below. Change blob1 to blob2. Then let's do some styling. Then style the blob, set position to absolute, width to 350 pixels, height to 350 pixels, border radius to 50% to circle it. Then add filter and a blur of 120 pixels, and opacity to 0.6, z-index to 1, and pointer events to none. Then blob1, add some background color, top to -100 pixels, left to -100 pixels. Same to blob2, add some background color, bottom to -100 pixels, right to -100 pixels. These blobs create depth and visual interest. Modern UI design often uses soft gradients and glowing shapes to make websites feel more alive. Think of these blobs like background lights in a photo studio. They don't hold content, but they make everything look better. Next, in our HTML, I will create the hero section. So, I'll create a section and give it a class of hero. Inside that section, I will create a div and give it two classes, glass and hero card. Inside that div, I will have another div with a class of hero content. Then a final div with a class of text. Inside this div, I will have a heading represented by the h1 element. Inside h1, I will have a span containing the name I wrote. Below that, I'll have a h2 element. In this h2, we will have another span and give it an ID of typing, then leave it. We will fill it with JavaScript. Next, I will write paragraph and write something about the portfolio website's owner. You can write something about yourself. Then I'll create another div. Give it a class of buttons. Inside this div, I will have two links with a class of button. The first will have a text of view projects. The second link will have two classes, button and outline, and a text of contact me. Next, I want to add an image to act like a profile picture. So out of the current div and the outer div, write the another div to contain the image, given a class of image. Then inside this div, write the image tag and source, and an alternative if the image fails to load. In order to put an image in the website, you should have it in the folder you are working on. So I will go to my files and copy an image. After copying the image, I will come to this folder and create a new folder. Call it Images. Then I will press Ctrl+V to paste the image in that folder. Then I will go back to the HTML file. Inside src in the image I will write the name of the image, starting with the folder name, that is images, then the name of the file, that is profile.jpg. And now we have the image in our website. Let's go to CSS and do some styling to this hero section. So first I will target the hero class. Give it a padding of 80 pixels for top and bottom, and 8% for left and right. Next, I will target Hero Content class, display it to flex, justify content space between, align item center. Then set flex wrap to wrap, and add a gap of 40 pixels. Next, I will target the H1 heading. I will use Hero Content, then H1 since I did not give it a class, then add some font size. Next is the H2 element. I will give it a margin of 15 pixels for top and bottom, and 0 pixels for left and right. Then I will reduce the boldness to 400. Then I will target the span, and change its color. Now let's style the image to look decent. Specify a width of 260 pixels, a height of 260 pixels, a border radius of 50%, and a border of 4 pixels, solid. RGBA, 255, 255, 255, and reduce the alpha to 0.4. Next, I will style the buttons. Target the buttons class, display to flex. Put a gap of 15 pixels. Set margin at the bottom to 20 pixels. Next is the BTN class. Give it a padding of 10 pixels for top and bottom, 20 pixels for right and left. Add a border radius to round the corners. Set some color in the background. Change the text color to black. Add some font weight. Remove text decoration. We will also add some transition of 0.3 seconds for changes to appear smoothly while we hover. Then we will write the changes that we want to appear while we hover the button. We use hover pseudo class. Then translate y-axis to 3 pixels on the negative side. If I try to hover, you can see they are shifting smoothly. Next, I will target the outline class. This is the button on the right. Make the background transparent. Set border to 2 pixels. Solid white. Change text color to white. Now I will go back to the HTML to add more content on the website. I will create the About section. So I will create a section, give it an is of About, and a class of section. This ID will help to link this sections with the links we created earlier. Inside this section I will have a div with a class of glass. Inside this div, I will have a H2 saying about me. Then below that I will have a paragraph having some details. Below the About section, I will create Projects section. Then I'll have a section with an ID of projects and a class of section. Inside this section, I will have a heading of my projects. Then I'll have a div with a class of projects grid. Then inside this div, I will have a div with two classes, glass and card. Inside this div, I will have a heading of the first project, so I will write portfolio. Next, I will create a paragraph with the description of the project. Since I have 3 projects, I will copy this first project div and paste it a few times. Change the texts. Then let's go to CSS and style this section. I will target the project grid, display it to grid, set grid template columns to repeat, auto-fit, min-max of 250px and 1fr, then a gap of 25 pixels. Next, I will target the card class, align text to center. Then some styles when we hover the card, transform, translate y-axis to -8 pixels. Add a transition of 0.3 seconds for the change to occur smoothly. Next, I will write some styles for the sections. I will target the sections class, give it a padding of 80 pixels for top and bottom, and 8% for left and right. Then the H2 on the sections, align the text to center, and add some margin at the bottom. Let's go to HTML and create a contact section. So, create a section. Give it an ID of contact and a class of section. Inside this section, create a div with a class of glass. Then inside this div, create a H2 of contact me. Then create a form. Give it a class of contact form. Inside this form, create an input, set type to text, placeholder to your name, and set it as required. Next, create another input, set type to email, placeholder to your email, and set it as required. Then create a text area, placeholder to your message, and set it as required. Next, I will create a send message button, put type as submit, and add a class of btn. Let's go back to CSS and do some styling. Target the contact form class, display to flex, flex direction to column, and a gap of 15 pixels. Next, I will target the input and the text area, put padding to 12 pixels, add some border radius, remove border, and remove the outline. Next, we gave most of our divs the glass class. It's time to use it. I will target the glass class. Give it a background of RGBA 255 and lower the alpha to 0.1. Next, I will add a backdrop filter and a blur of 18 pixels. Next, a border radius of 15 pixels. A border of 1 pixel solid RGBA 255 and lower the alpha to 0.2. Next, add a box shadow of 0, 8 pixels, 32 pixels, RGBA 0 and lower the alpha to 0.2. Then add a padding of 40 pixels. Our website is already looking clean. Next, I will make it responsive, so that it fits both your computer and mobile devices. We use media queries for this. So I will write at media and max width is 768 pixels. That means the styles I will write in here will only apply to screens with a width less than 768 pixels. So I will target the navlinks class. And when on a smaller screen, I want it not to be displayed. Also flex direction to column. I will target another class called active. I don't have this class, but I will create it right now with JavaScript. So I want when navlinks class is active, display it to flex. Next, I will target the hamburger class. Earlier we displayed it to none. Now I will display it to block, so that it is visible on small screens. Finally, I will target the hero content, set flex direction to column, and align text to center. If I expand my screen, you will see that the website changes on a certain width and takes new styles. That's how we add responsivity. Now let's add some JavaScript to make our website interactive. So I will create a constant variable called hamburger. Then its value is a HTML element that I will access using document.getElementById. Remember, we gave our elements in HTML on ID. Now we can access them easily like this. Next, I will create another variable called navlinks and access an element by ID navlinks. Then access the hamburger and make it clickable. Add an event listener of click and an arrow function. Inside the arrow function, add a class list to navlinks and toggle a class called active. Remember, we styled this class in media queries. Now if I click the hamburger icon, the links appear. If I click again, they disappear. Next, I will add dark mode to my website when I click the crescent moon icon. So I will create a variable called theme toggle and access an element in HTML called theme toggle. This is the button for theme that we gave an ID of theme toggle. Then add an event listener of click and an arrow function. Inside the arrow function, access the body in HTML, class list and toggle, a class of dark. Now I will style the dark class which we have added. I will set the color for dark mode. So if body has the dark class, I will set its background to a linear gradient, 135 degrees, and then the colors, a dark black and a lighter one. Let's try if it's working. There you go. Next, I want to change the moon icon to a sun icon while we shift to dark mode. So I will use an if statement and check if the body contains a class of dark, then change the theme toggle text content to a sun emoji. Else, which means if we are not on dark mode, the theme toggle text content will be the crescent moon. If now I try to switch themes, the icon is not changing, which means something is not right in JavaScript. I note in our condition we left out the word body. Now it should work just fine. Now we want to add some typing animation so that the website feels more alive. So first I will initialize an array of words that I want to be typed. Next, a variable named I with a value of 0, and a variable named J with a value of 0, a variable of current substring and set it to an empty string, and a variable called isDeleting, set it to false. I equals 0. Keeps track of which word from the array is currently being typed. Starts at index 0 in the array, so frontend developer is the element at index 0. Then J equals 0. Keeps track of how many letters of the word are currently shown. Starts at 0, so for now nothing typed yet. Then current word. Stores the current word being typed. This will be updated inside the function. Lastly is deleting, a Boolean flag. False means we will be typing forward. True means we will be deleting letters. Next, I will create a function to implement the typing logic. Current word equals words I. Takes the current word from the array using index I. Example, if I equals 0, then current word equals frontend developer. Next, write this code. I will explain it. If isDeleting is true, it removes letters one by one, substring 0j-, takes characters from index 0 up to j, then decreases j by 1 because of the decrementing j. So the text gets shorter each time. Next, write the else part. If isDeleting is false, it types letters one by one, substring 0j++, takes characters from index 0 to j, then increases j by 1, so the text gets longer each time. When typing is complete, this line checks. If we are typing that is not isDeleting, and we reach the full word length, that means the word is fully typed. Then the condition will become true. Switch to deleting mode. Wait 1 second before starting to delete. Then call type function. This checks if we are deleting, and no letters are left. What happens is, switch back to typing mode. Move to the next word. I equals I plus 1 modulus words dot length means increases I. Modulus words dot length makes it loop back to 0 when reaching the end. Wait 300 milliseconds before typing next word. This checks if we are still typing or deleting. If deleting, then speed equals 50 milliseconds, so deleting will be faster. If typing, then speed equals 100 milliseconds, so typing will be slower. This creates a realistic typing effect. I know this might look a bit complicated, but it's worth learning. It helps to make websites more alive. Now I will call the function to start the animation. And look at the website, the animation is fully working. One final thing is that I almost forgot to put links in my HTML. So go back to the links and put the href attribute. Inside it, write the name of IDs we put on sections. Make sure they start with a hash symbol. Also update the other two links and add the href. Now try to click the links and see if they are taking you to the specified sections. And congratulations, you made yourself a modern, fully responsive portfolio website. In the next video, we will push this portfolio to GitHub and deploy it, so that others can view it in the browser by searching it or clicking a link. So that's all I had for you today. Stay tuned for the next video where we deploy this website to the internet. If this video helped you, make sure to like, subscribe, and share. See you in the next video.